Hey everybody, today I want to talk about why you shouldn't chase job titles. And the problem begins, as many problems do, in childhood. How many times when we were younger were we asked questions like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Something seemingly so innocent, but we didn't realize at the time we were being conditioned way too often and way too early to place too much emphasis on job titles when we really had no idea what it meant to be a doctor or an astronaut or a dragon. Rawr. And we grow up, we get older, and we find out the world has been built around these job titles. All you have to do is a Google search on a job title and bam, you are inundated from every direction from all these different job posting sites with everything that matches that title. What's wrong with that? Well, nothing is wrong with the job titles themselves. What's wrong is the overemphasis that we place on the job titles and how much we equate a job title with happiness. And don't get me wrong, job titles are great. You can equate them with some level of wealth and financial freedom and security, and those things are fantastic, but they are not the sole markers for happiness. How many times in your own career have you said, if I can just make it to that next title, I'll be happy? And then you get there and everything is kind of meh? Maybe you're marginally happier, but then immediately you start setting your sights on the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And then if you equate happiness with the title, you are always seeking for the next thing, so happiness essentially becomes pretty elusive at that point. And before you know it, you're 20 years into a job that you really only tolerate because it gets you by. And yes, there might have been a point in history where jobs were hard to come by and you were lucky to have one at all, and you could afford things like a house and a car and 4.5 kids with just your single job alone, but that's not the world that we live in anymore. Job titles also don't tell you the most important thing about a job, and that's what you're going to be doing day in and day out. What are you going to be doing every single day, and do you see yourself doing that long into the foreseeable future? This is a very common thread for people who zip around from one career to another, or who go to school for these very specific degrees and then come out and have jobs that are totally irrelevant to the degree. The day-to-day realities of the job they thought they wanted didn't match with the expectations that they had in their head. And job titles can be wildly inconsistent. You could be a project manager at a construction site or a project manager for digital software, and the day-to-day activities are going to be very different. So what are you really saying when you say you want to be a project manager? Project manager for who? Doing what? Where? All of these things are more important to know than the title itself. And finally, job titles may not really allow you to do your best work. The job title may be attractive, but does it really match the unique talent set that you have? Take Michael Phelps, for example. He is made to be a swimmer. He has a long torso, relatively shorter legs, and a large arm span, which makes him cut through the water really easily. That's what allows him to be a 28-time gold medal Olympian. And then you have Eliud Kipchoge. He's purpose-built to be super light and super fast, so he could run a sub 2-hour marathon. Now, flip those two, and I bet Michael Phelps couldn't run a marathon in sub 2 hours, and I bet Eliud Kipchoge couldn't win even one medal in swimming. Now, of course, these are examples of genetically afforded talents to a large degree, but I think the metaphor is still the same. Are you playing the right sport? Are you optimized for what you are doing? Are you doing the job that is specifically suited for your talent? Because people will always do better and succeed faster when they are doing things that they are uniquely talented for, instead of trying to fight against the grain of how they were built and who they are. So it's important that we find careers that help you showcase your talents. They say a salary is the price a company pays you to give up on your dreams. I say that's balderdash. It's also paying for the yummy food that's in my tummy, and that's pretty sweet. People who are truly happy with their careers have done a great job of finding something that leverages their unique talents to feed their mind, their belly, and their spirit. So what do you do if you're looking for something a little more meaningful? A job is more than just a title. It's a set of daily routines that will consume the majority of your life. So if you're looking for some longevity and happiness, try asking yourself a few simple questions as suggested by Katherine Brooks, a career coach and executive director of Vanderbilt University's Career Center. Just ask yourself who, what, where, and why. Like I said, very simple, but so simple that we often forget about it. Let's start with who. Who do you want to be around all day? Who do you want to be your colleagues, your customers, your clients? Think about the occupations of these individuals, their education level, their lifestyle, and get very specific with it, like, I want to work with college students and new graduates. I want to be around people who are goal-oriented. I want my customers to be people who need help managing their finances. Let's talk about what. What do you see yourself doing? Are you writing, designing, acting, managing? What do you want to work with? Is it software, materials, data, people? Do you want to work alone or do you want to work collaboratively? Think about where. What setting do you want to be in? Big city? Small town? Is there a specific location that you fancy? Big open office or small cubicle? Somewhere foreign? An office? A hospital? Do you want to be able to wander and explore? Do you want to travel a lot? And finally, and probably most important, why? Why do any of those previous answers matter to you? Do they fulfill a passion that you have? Do they help you paint the image of the person that you want to be? Do they set you up for future success? Do they meet you and your family's immediate and long-term goals? These answers will help give you the proper motivation to find something that is much better suited for you. So, now you're sitting on a bunch of answers, but how do you apply it? If you're searching for a job, you can begin by Googling any of those answers and start cross-referencing with different career fields and job titles. Now, before it might have been a little harder, but today there are so many professional networks and things like LinkedIn where you can simply just reach out to somebody in a career field or with a title that you fancy and ask them what their day-to-day is like and see if those answers line up with yours. And you can get a much better idea of what it will be like. I'm sure you'll find that there are plenty of people who are willing to talk to you. And if you're interested in any of the things I do, feel free to find me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to talk to you too. Now, this is all simply advice. It's not a one-time silver bullet. You may find yourself going through this process a few times. You know, we grow up, we get older, our goals change, our tastes change, and that's okay. But if you find that you need this, I hope it's helpful. And that about wraps it up for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other useful tips. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell for all the updates on the latest videos. And as always, I'm me, you're you. We're gonna need a bigger boat.